Hello, thank you again for viewing the Diaspora panel. This is the Diaspora panel, the voice of the diaspora, where we discuss politics in Nigeria and politics internationally. I have with me, as always, I have Mr. Ola Lawal, who is based in Canada. Mr. Lawal, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Thank you for having me.
I also have Mr. Olaitan Adedigba, who is based in the United States of America. Mr. Adedigba, you are also welcome.
It's my pleasure being here this afternoon.
And my name is Deji Olaiya. I'm based in the Republic of Ireland. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As I said, this is Diaspora Panel. And if you are one of our viewers and you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscription button. It is free of charge. It means that anytime we do a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. So today, we are going to be talking about the result of the tribunal, the election tribunal that happened on Wednesday, the 6th of September. And we saw what happened at the tribunal. We saw the decision of the judges to affirm the election win of the President Bola Tinubu. And this is what we are going to discuss today. We are going to discuss the different aspects of the election. And I am going to start with Mr. Lawal, who is in faraway Canada. The first thing I want to ask you, Shukbo, in general, what is your opinion of the performance of our judges?
Thank you very much for having me. I think overall, the judgment, so just to kind of give our viewers, a view of what's happening, we have the petition tribunal judgment actually printed. So it's about almost 800 and something pages, I think. So yeah, we've kind of gone through it. So the perspective is not based on what other people have commented on, as is widely circulating over social media. It's actually based on our own understanding after actually going through it. And I would say that overall, it seems to me to be a well adjudicated petition. Is my overall perception. Parties, depending exactly on where they are, may not agree with the outcome, but I think it is quite detailed. Overall, it identified the petitions that were brought before the petition court. There were 3 petitions. One filed by Peter Obi and the Labour Party, the second filed by the Allied People's Movement, and the third one by Atiku and the PDP. So those were the 3 petitions that were that was in front of the court. Very detailed. I would say that anybody who has not read it should take some time to actually read through, before you listen, or if you've listened to any social media commentary on it. I think it's important because for me personally, my perception from hearing people commenting about it is quite different after actually going through the actual petition results. But I think overall, I can say it was very well adjudicated.
Thank you. And Laiton, I'm going to ask you next. On Wednesday in the morning, I tuned in from 9 a.m. That's London time, in the morning. And I thought I was going to sit down there for about maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, or 1.5 hours, maybe maximum 2 hours. I ended up sitting down for about 13 hours, 10 in the evening. At the end of that exercise, I was very, very proud of my country. I was proud of the judges. I was proud of the judiciary. And I think everyone should be proud. So what is your general impression about the Nigerian judiciary? Do you think that we have matured in democracy?
Yeah. First and foremost, I must say a job well done to the judiciary. The judiciary, we've been hearing electoral petitions since 1979, when I was in secondary school. But what I'm saying in essence is this time around, it was televised. Everybody were around, they sat down, everybody, and this kind of election where they don't base their judgment on what what people are saying outside. So it was a judgment that devoid of any tricks, any kickbacks, any of these stuff. So it goes a long way to tell us that our judiciary, they are up to the task, right? So the judiciary, they impresses as a person, right? I'm speaking of myself now. I was impressed with the delivery of the judgment. And likewise, so why some people will be aggrieved. There's no way there will not be a dissent voice to their judgment. Even if you give two people food, someone will say, you give me 2 fish, you give him 1 fish. So there will be a dissent voice. But that judgment, it goes a long way to speak volumes about the level of our judiciary in Nigeria, right? To the outside world. I mean, it was excellent adjudication, so to say.
Thank you, Laito.
Yeah.
Super. When I read through that over 800 pages, when I read through page by page, I was very, very impressed by the detailed explanation on why we did this, why we took this decision, why we think this is the way we should interpret this law. And for anyone who's reasonable, I think, for example, when the judge said, one of the judges said that if you lay a precedent that if you don't score 25% in Abuja, then you cannot win. It means then that somebody can have 25% in 36 states. And if they don't win Abuja, that means the person has not won. So I think that if we take the time to study this judgment, I think that we will find out that for the first time, we have a concurrence of opinion from all the judges. But what is this about? We are hearing about the PDP and the Labour Party saying, oh, they want to go into the Supreme Court. Do you think this is the right step for them to do? Or do you think they should just agree with the 5 judges of the tribunal?
Well, I think parties can explore all options that are open to them. So in other words, I wouldn't take it from anyone if they want to go to the Supreme Court. But there are a couple of things to me that struck me when I went through, and I'll mention a couple of them, which I think fundamentally to me weakens the petition. If you read through the tribunal judgment, there were several arguments, several grounds, so to speak, about 5 of them that was put forward for the petition. If you read the first 4 of those grounds identified in one way or the other that Peter Obi actually won the election. And then to my surprise, in the 5th ground, and I will read it actually from the, it says, in the further alternative to 1, 2, 3, and 4 above, 5, that the presidential election conducted on 25th February 2023 is void on the ground that the election was not conducted substantially in accordance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and order cancelling the presidential election conducted on 25th February and mandating the first respondent, which is INEC, to conduct a fresh election for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So now, for me, which one is it? Did you
actually won? Yeah.
So if you say you've won, are you then saying that you've won, an incorrectly conducted election. So, you know, the court actually said, yeah, it's okay. You can, you know, bring all grounds, even though if there may be, you know, if the grounds may be conflicting. But to me, it doesn't seem to bring the spirit of their argument. What exactly are you saying? Are you saying that you won the election?
Or you won the election council?
Bringing or that, in which case
you want the council?
Or are you saying, you know, we didn't win, but, you know, this election was so badly conducted that we should have a rerun? For me, I would think it should be one of the two. You know, choose one position and substantiate that position with evidence, with you know, credible evidence. So to me, you know, when you're kind of saying, you know, this and then that, it's kind of sure that you're trying to throw everything to the, you know, at the court and see what sticks. So for me, that was the first issue. The second issue has to do with the issue of evidence. If you are arguing and you're bringing a petition before the court, you have to substantiate it with facts. So if you're saying that you won, okay, how many votes, by how many votes did you actually win? How many votes did you get that were not accorded to you?
Yeah.
So the court can actually look at the basis of, you know, of your petition and adjudicate it. I would say that if I understand the judgment very well, the first respondent, which is INEC, is actually not compelled to bring, you know, the analysis and everything, unless the petitioner brings very specific grounds. You know, so, and I will read some. It says in paragraph 83 of the petition, where the petitioners claimed that the first petitioner scored the majority of the lawful votes cast at the election, they did not state the majority of the lawful votes they claim to have scored.
Yeah.
Especially as elections and the determination of who won election is about figures. That's one area. Listen to this. Another one. This is on page 24. It says, in the petition, the petitioners merely made generic allegations of various irregularities and malpractices against the respondents without specifying the polling units, collation centers, or specific places where the alleged irregularities and malpractices occurred. Rather, the petitioners only stated that they will rely on spreadsheets, inspection reports, and forensic expert analysis, which they said they have incorporated in the petition. But none of the spreadsheets, inspection reports, and forensic expert analysis was attached and served along with the petition on the respondents. Rather, they were only listed as items 35 and 36 in the list of documents to be relied upon by the petitioners. Now, listen to this. This, to me, was the biggest singer. It is only in paragraphs 62 and 64 of the petition where the petitioners alleged that the first respondents, which is INEC, suppressed the lawful votes of the petitioners and inflated the votes of the second and fourth respondents in Rivers and Benue states, that the petitioners gave figures of the votes. Those were the only places suppressed for the petitioners, and those inflated for the second and fourth respondents, and also stated what they claim to be the actual figures scored by them and by the second and fourth respondents. But all other paragraphs of the petition where irregularities and malpractices were alleged are bereft of the material details of the polling units or places where they were alleged to have taken place, or the figures of votes alleged to have been suppressed, deflated, or inflated. So, to me, if you are saying that an irregularity happened, you know, however votes you believe you obtained, you should bring that to the court with evidence.
Yeah. Then
the judges will, you know, petition INEC, you know, to provide their own side of the story.
Yeah.
And then we can actually talk about figures. Okay, this is how much you scored, this is how much you allocated. But you can't just say generally, you know, we won. Okay, so it seems to me that the lawyers for the petitioner did not do a very good job of substantiating their grounds with credible evidence.
Thank you very much, Lighter. You know, at that level, at the level where you compete to be president of the country, you are contesting the election, and you hire the best lawyers in Nigeria. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's what I expect, to hire all the best lawyers. Do you think this lawyers, these best lawyers that that were employed by the Labour Party and by Atiku, do you think did they do a good job? Do you think was that what we were expecting, for them to go to a court without documents, without proof, without just to be making generic statement that in Lagos our votes were suppressed? How? There's no proof. Is that what were you expecting that?
DG, it's laughable. when you are saying that somebody stole. Okay, give us what he steals. Right? You don't. They are bad losers. I'm telling you. Look at. If these people they really won, they would have provided evidence that okay, we won here, we won here, we won here. This year there was overvoting here. There was they disrupted the election here. They did this, they did that here.
Yes.
So
that was what Oyetola did in Osun to prove his case.
To prove his case. Okay, look at what Tinubu did. According to Oshibajo said Tinubu called him to his body-law house. That okay, in Osun they rigged this election. There was overvoting. In Edo, they rigged this election. In all these areas, he said. So he now said, how are we going to reclaim our mandate? So he now said, except we get a forensic expert that will prove it. I said, okay, go to Britain, go to anywhere you can go and get a forensic expert. Then they hire Adrian Forty. Adrian Forty said he has not, in Dockyard police, they've not done 400 people before with fingerprint. He said, okay, they needed a lot of police, like 500 police from Dockyard. So they brought them to Nigeria. They now discovered that they were using one person with vote 100 times. So they were printing. So they were able to prove it, that there was overvoting in the real sense of it, right? Where the forensic analyst came to the court, he presented it, and he presented everything before
there was proof.
There was proof. This is the proof. But in Atiku and Obi's case, they said there was the lawyers knew. They just wanted to collect their money. That these people didn't win anything, right? So they don't win anything. So they just needed money. So let them bring their money. They have money. Let them win. Let them we continue. You know, Nigerian lawyers now for what they are, and a lot of people, right, that need to get out of their mental rust. They don't. They keep disseminating falsehood that Obi won, Atiku won. The vice president of Obi, he lost his polling booth to PDP. He's saying that he's claiming that the election should be cancelled. All the elections should be cancelled. He said it on channel television. So we are bad losers in Nigeria. We keep complaining. It's wrong. We should be a sportsman rather than be no, it's wrong. When the election is won, they congratulate somebody that win the election. That is how it should be, right? You knew that all along you don't win the election, but you keep saying disseminating falsehood, and you are relying on technicality that he didn't go to University of Chicago State University. He didn't go to what is it called? Community college. He entered community college. He spent 2 years there. 2 years there, from 2 years to, it's just like HSC in Nigeria or Polytechnic in Nigeria. You have to spend 2 years before you enter university, which he did. And they wrote a letter. The letter is here, right? That they should they wrote a letter, the email, everything is there, that they should go and verify. Everybody, they keep verifying this guy, that he didn't attend Chicago State University. So this is what they rely upon. No, it's wrong. We are just casting aspersion on somebody who doesn't deserve aspersion, right? They should allow him to be focused now. Is now a good pedestrian to move Nigeria forward from the Kankerwood we met ourselves, the quagmire we met ourselves in the last 8 years. So let us focus our attention on how we can develop and human capital development, right, in Nigeria, so Nigeria can move forward. That should be the case. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Can I add to what Mr. Olaitan just said? Because I think we should also be mindful of the actual election experience, because we can't separate what people are feeling from what they actually experience. If I would, look at this, I think INEC did, in my opinion, did not do a good job of running and conducting the election transparently. I think if the elections was conducted, as transparently as possible, and by that I mean, for example, when the INEC chairman said election results will be transmitted, on IRF and will be transmitted electronically. If that was done and transmitted electronically, and there wasn't anything like a glitch, because I don't know what a glitch means, and to Nigerians, where previous elections have been mired in so many malpractices, when you say there was a glitch in the system and you cannot explain what the glitch is, people will conclude that to be an avenue to corrupt the whole process, and where all kinds of malpractices will happen. So for me, I think, and there were many videos, for example, of people being prevented from going to vote, or people being prevented from casting their vote for the right candidate. Now, does all of that bubble up to say the election was not free and fair? I don't know, but that is the burden that the petitioners have to be able to prove, which is kind of, for me, the issue I have with the petition. That if your argument is that you won, then focus on proving how you actually won. By what numbers did you win? How many votes were docked out of the votes that you believe you obtained, in which it was given to another candidate? But if your position is that this election was filled with so many malpractices that we should do a rerun, then stick to that. Okay, but not have both.
I understand. Shukwa, before we continue, I'm just going to answer your questions before I ask you the question I want to ask you. First of all, I have no doubt in my mind that APC won that election. I have no doubt in my mind. If you look at the people who are saying that the election was rigged, in Southeast, where Obi came from, Obi cleared 95% of all the voting in the 5 southeastern states. If you are saying that INEC collaborated with APC, how could you then have gotten 95% of votes in Southeast? Obi won in the stronghold of Bola Tinubu in Lagos. Obi won in Lagos 500,000 votes, 10,000 more than Bola Tinubu. Obi won in Lagos.
In his stronghold.
Yeah. In Osun State, which is an APC state, PDP won there. So if you look at the statistics, there are 36 states of Nigeria plus Abuja. They split everything down the middle. 12 states for Bola Tinubu, 12 states for Atiku, 11 states for Obi. So it was a very competitive election. If you say
first election,
go back and look at the election of 1983 of Shagari and Awolowo and Nnamdi Azikiwe, then you will know the meaning of rigging. Look at what happened in the then Ondo State. That is what we call rigging. This one is straight election. That's number one. Now, number two, about INEC and the glitch. I mean, we are all computer experts. Yeah. When INEC was saying that we've now found a very seamless system, we are going to upload this in real time, we are going to do this, they were doing all their samples based on about 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people. But on that first election day, about 20 million people were voting at the same time, and they were trying to upload. So there was a glitch. A glitch means that the software malfunctioned. I mean, we all use computers. You can be using your computer, yes. Your computer can freeze. So I think the problem with INEC is that they have only one server That is wrong. Even all this Facebook, all this Instagram, they have many servers in many different countries. We call them redundancies. In my own company, I have about 5 different servers in the 5 continents, so that if one server, has a problem, people can log into the other servers. So if INEC should have one server in every state, so that if people are trying to log in from Lagos and they're not able to log in, the system will route them through Oyo State or through Kano State, and they'll be able to get onto the onto the portal.
Other server.
Yeah, there are instances. There are times when you want to log into your Facebook and you find out that the server is down. Have you experienced that before?
Of course.
Yeah. They will tell you, hold on for me.
That's
what we call a glitch.
Okay.
A glitch is something that is beyond our control.
Okay.
Something failed. And then INEC now provided an answer. They said what happened was that some unscrupulous people were trying to hack into their computer. The computer was, the server was being manipulated. And then the result was there was a glitch, and then they have to put the server down. But at the end of the day, please, just one last thing. In every polling booth, once they finish the election, they write it on a form. I think EC something.
Yeah.
Everybody will sign it, and they will give every agent one copy. So what PDP and Labour Party should have done, just like APC is, you collate all your agents.
Collate everything and present it.
Collate everything. Then you can then go to court and say, sir, this is what I scored. This is what they gave me. But they didn't know that they were saying our voters were suppressed illegal, they were suppressed in Maiduguri. That is not any proof.
So can I respond to that?
Yes.
I think, and I hear you, I think one of the reasons why Nigeria is in the position we are in today is because we reward failure.
Okay.
INEC had a budget of about 400 and something million to build a capable infrastructure to conduct an election. So there should be no excuses. Let's be frank. There should be no excuses. They should not be finding out after the president. For God's sake, they issued voters' cards. They know how many voters' cards they issued. They know if everybody turns out on election day, how many people were going to be using that infrastructure. So let's not play coy.
Okay, sure.
If you are not capable of... No, let me finish.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I think if the election was run so transparently, we would not be in the position that we are in, because it will be so clear to everybody that, and I think Nigerians by now, if they lost an election, but they know that the system is transparent and the other guy won, guess what? They will move on.
I understand.
So we cannot excuse in my mind, the incompetent way in which INEC conducted the elections. They had a budget. They were given money.
I don't
so
think
there is no excuse for not building the right infrastructure for them to be able to conduct a seamless election. That is the expectation. And I don't think that bar is too high. If they know that they cannot do it,
what I believe,
get out of conducting an election.
What I know is the Twitter, Facebook server that might be down for 20-30 minutes. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that they are working on it. That it serves the whole world. It can break down. Talk less, Nigeria with 160 million, 220 million. So it's not my. I don't believe normal. That should, no.
If you had look, okay, let me put it this way. If you had to go and do a surgery, is it normal in a hospital that in the middle of the surgery they will take power?
No, you don't compare surgery with this. This is surgery. I mean,
this is an election.
You are talking about life. No,
election.
You can't compare these two.
Well, okay.
This is an election that happens not every day.
Can I come in?
It happens one time in every 4 years.
Can I come in, Shukwo? I'm very happy that You are a cybersecurity expert. So you are an IT guru. Now, we all know that for the fact that your TV worked last night doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow morning. You can wake up tomorrow morning, you switch off your TV, you switch it on, and it doesn't come on. That's a fact. Anything that is electronic can have a glitch at any time. Now, having said that, the problem with Nigeria, INEC did a fantastic job. The problem is Nigeria happened to INEC. You are talking about Nigeria where the infrastructure they put in place. Hold on 1 second. The infrastructure, the software they put in place, expect something like maybe 1 gigabyte of high-speed internet connection, which doesn't exist in Nigeria. You understand? Nigeria's internet connectivity is, and what they call broadband, is not what to call broadband here. Because their broadband is all by wireless. But here we have piped, broadband. So if you are running a server and you have an internet connectivity that is not what it should be, you're gonna get a glitch. And and what I like about it is that after that first election, subsequent election, they were able to make adjustments, maybe increase their servers and then do what they have to do, and everything was smooth. But at the end of the day, uploading results onto the portal is not important, because the result that you are uploading is already in your hand. It's already in your hand. So uploading it is just for viewing sake, just for people to see it. But you already have it in your hand. The question we're asking is, the result that you have in your hand, is it different from the one that INEC put out? That is the question.
Okay, so but I respectfully, I disagree, and I will tell you the reason why I say I disagree. This is an election that happens once in every 4 years.
Yes. Okay.
So the INEC has enough time to prepare. If the budget they were assigned to conduct the election is not enough, they should ask for more. That's my first point. Second point is that, you see, the reason why making the results available publicly, I will tell you. If I'm a person, I'm an average Joe, I went to my local polling station to vote. After voting, I stayed, they counted the votes. I know exactly what the results were. And then, a few hours later, I went home. INEC released the results electronically on IREV. Then I went on IREV, I went to look in there at the results of my own polling booth where I voted. And the result displayed there was exactly the same result that was accounted for after the votes were counted. You know what that would do to me as an individual? It will give me confidence in the election process. Now, count if every Nigerian is able to do that. What every person would look at is that, okay, I cannot say anything for all other polling units, but from my own polling units where I voted, I think this is fair.
Okay.
That is how you build confidence.
But at the end of the day,
and then finally, just a minute, finally, nobody put a gun to INEC's head to say they will transmit it electronically. In fact, the chairman of INEC was at Chatham House about a month or so before the election, and he was on record saying that the elections will be transmitted electronically, only for them to come back and say they had a glitch. So, we can give all kinds of excuses until we get to a point where we have zero tolerance for excuses, but 100% expectation of delivery is when we will continue to move forward as a nation.
But there's no perfect election,
I'm not saying there's a perfect election, but the issue at hand drives very deeply to the transparency of the election and the perceptions amongst the people that this is a free and fair election. And I think that is very important.
I think you have something to say.
Like you rightly said, these people, if the result it was bloated, right? The result of the election, the area that why the glitches were, right? These people, they would have shout upon the roof, that, okay, the election, this is what they score here, this is what they gave them, this is what they score here, this is what they gave them. So why we know we always try to hang on to something that these are flimsy excuses, that glitches. You have your electoral officer there, you have the returning officer, you have everybody there, right? Do they give different results from the result they have, you have it on your hand? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Okay, there was a glitch. Let's not believe INEC that there was glitch. Okay, the result INEC declared why there was glitch, is it different from the result your polling agent they're having with them? Is it different? No. These are the area. We don't need just to be laboring ourselves with all these excuses. So, Nigerians, we always find excuses, find blame, to apportion blame for something that is now, we make money out of more. No, it's wrong. We should accept defeat in good faith and be a sportsman.
What I think, Shupo, what I think, if you look at that election, is that Tinubu won because he had a bridge to the north, and he got substantial, especially in the northwest, he got substantial votes. Obi based his campaign around his Igbo kinsmen, where he got about 5 Igbo states in the southeast and the votes of the Igbos in Lagos. And then he built it again around Christians. And then he got Benue State, he got Plateau State, he got Nasarawa State, he got all those Christian states. But he didn't have a bridge to the north. That's the problem. That if he wants to win 2027, that is what he needs to do.
Okay.
Now, hold on 1 second. Let me finish, please. 1 second. If you look at Atiku, the reason why Atiku lost that election was because he lost the Igbo states. He lost Igbo State to Obi. He lost Kano State to Kwankwaso. These are people who are in PDP. And then he lost those 4 or 5 governors. Wike, Oyo State governor, and the other Governor Tom of Benue. He lost them. Atiku lost all those votes. That's why his votes was decimated. But Tinubu was the gainer, not because he got PDP's vote, but PDP was divided. So if you actually analyze that election, you'll be convinced that Bola Tinubu won that election. There's no doubt.
I'm not saying
he won that election.
Did not win, but I think maybe I'm not making my point very clear. A process, the confidence people have in a process depends a lot on their perception of how that process is run, whether they are right or wrong. Look at what is happening in the United States now. The elections were actually conducted freely and fairly, but there is a perception, a wrong perception, for most people, that there was some kind of a fraud in the system. And you can see what it is doing to their democracy. How better would this have been if the elections was conducted so transparently that both Atiku and Peter Obi got in front of the microphone to say, we tried, we didn't win.
But how transparent can you be when you voted in your polling booth, you signed the EC form, you had a copy of all the polling units? How transparent can you be? What other transparency?
They keep complaining. The Nigerians.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Did INEC release the consolidated results, polling station by polling station, to all political parties?
Of course they did. And everybody has a copy. They did.
Okay. So if everybody has a copy, why was it so difficult for Labour Party and PDP to come forward with the areas where they were?
That's the question we should ask them.
These are the questions you ask them those questions.
Because even I haven't gone to IRF to check lately, but at least the last time I checked, the election results were still not tabulated.
Even look at it this way, Shupo. Even after the presidential election, there was the governorship election, which followed exactly the same pattern. There was the House of Rep, there was the Senate election, there was the House of Assembly election, which follow exactly the same pattern. Exactly the same pattern. So I think that Labour Party, they don't have any reason to go to a tribunal because they came a distant thought. Even if they are praying the court, we want to have a rerun, they're not going to benefit from it. They are number 3. It's going to be between Atiku and they can't benefit from it. They are number 3. So, but at the end of the day, what I am seeing here is that their expectation didn't come true. Most of the places they thought they were going to win, they didn't, because they did their best. But their best just wasn't enough. Because most of the noises they were making it on the social media. While Bola Tinubu was going into the north, was giving money to where there were disasters, was donating, things, was talking to them. The obedience was shouting on Twitter. They were screaming on Facebook. They were abusing everybody. So,
yeah. Well, I think for me, I think one important thing to identify is that improvements in an electoral process do not happen over one election cycle. But we can only improve if we hold people accountable. And for me, this is the reason why holding INEC accountable for running a transparent election is so important. Because if we keep giving excuses to them, they will not improve. And I would prefer to have an election in the future where the opposition candidate that lost an election that the elections will be run so transparently that they can stand before the cameras and say, we lost.
I think we will get there. Nigeria will get there. So
that, I think, for me, is the first thing. And I think it's also worth mentioning that if we had this many petitions in this election to the winner, I think it is a call out that they should do everything within their power not to find themselves in this same situation in the next election cycle. And you can only do that by delivering good governance.
Yeah, I'm very, very sure that this is not a situation that will happen itself. I think what INEC should do is to completely do away with all this uploading, to IRF. We just do it the way they do it in America, the way they do it in the United Kingdom. No, there's no need to upload anything to the internet.
But I think actually uploading results in real time does instill confidence.
It does, but why are they not using it in the UK? Why is it not being used in Canada? You are in Canada.
And that's what I'm saying. It comes down to competence.
So
competence. Hire the right people who can put the right infrastructure in place and run a seamless and transparent election. Not people who will say one thing and then give excuses at the end of the day. That is not acceptable.
When I look at the election, I will score INEC 90%. They did try. If somebody went to school and they scored 90%, that's a distinction. We're only focusing on one mistake.
No.
We're only focusing on one mistake, but every other thing was perfect.
No, it wasn't.
There wasn't?
It wasn't. Because this is my own personal frustration with the petitioners, because there were many cases, in fact, documented even in social media, where people were prevented from voting. There were many cases where election officials turned up in the afternoon when they were supposed to be there at 8:30 in the morning. So, there were many areas where things did not go well. Let's be honest.
Okay.
But, I can see, look, Shuko, in the eastern state, I saw somebody, one Igbo man. He said he's not going to vote for Obi, and they turned him back. A lot of people, you want to vote for APC, you want to vote for PDP, they will turn you back. That's what was happening in the AP. It's not happening in Oyo, it's not happening in Osun, it's not happening in Ondo now. Nothing like that.
No. But what I'm saying,
a lot of people are voting in the eastern part of the country. I saw them. They are saying they were sending it through the WhatsApp that this guy they prevented them from voting. A man was flogged. They were flogging him because he wanted to vote for APC. I saw so these are the areas we need to find a way of doing away with electoral law. They let the electoral body, they have a law. They should instill that law, right? Should make use of that law. Make sure you disqualify any candidate that goes against the law. So these are the areas. I think I buy your point, right? But all of them, they even in Lagos, they did the same thing. Some people, they don't allow them to come in, to go out. So in Anambra, so it's everybody, it's all the parties, not only peculiar to one party. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, left to me, I think that going forward, to avoid any kind of confusion, we should just maintain the standard like other countries. The issue of electronic transmission should be removed completely. So everybody, when you go to your polling booth, just sign the form, get your own copy, go and add everything up, so that there will be no confusion. But all said and done, I'm very, very happy with INEC. I think Professor Yakub Mahmoud, I think he did a fantastic job.
He did a fantastic job.
He did a very well job, and I'm very happy with what he has done. And Shokwa, you want to say something before we close?
Yeah, I disagree with the fact that he has done a fantastic job. I don't think that job was fantastic. I think a lot more could be done to instill more confidence. And I personally, if I were him, if I stood in front of the people in Chatham House and saying that the results will be transmitted electronically, I believe that the minimum would be to give a detailed explanation to Nigerians as to why that didn't happen. Anything short of that,
well, it does happen
all over the world.
There are about 5
all over the world. All over the world. There is no clear-cut free election. We have to be building on it. We have to be building on it.
But we don't. We just had an election.
The election conducted in America. The election conducted in America. Donald Trump and the groups, they are saying no. In Florida, they said it was calling Florida governor to make sure he voted for him. I mean,
but the results were transmitted. The results were transmitted electronically.
Light on.
The American results. No, it wasn't transmitted electronically. You have to go there to and vote, and everybody will. You will see the result. Then everything goes one way. There was no central server. There was no central server that they are sending into. That is what I'm saying.
There are 5 elections. There's the presidential election.
Yes.
There's the senatorial election.
Yes.
There's the House of Rep.
Yes.
There's the governorship. There's the House of Assembly.
Yes.
Now, all the other 4 were all uploaded, no problem. There is only one, the presidential election, that was half uploaded. So even that is about 4.5. That's about 4.5 upon 5.
No, the guy is 90. Is really is 90.
It's 90%.
It deserves 98%. Yeah, I'm telling you. It deserves.
So
what makes even this situation most precarious is that at the time that they were claiming that there was a glitch, the results for Senate and House of Reps was transmitted electronically. Only the presidential election. So this is what I mean when I say people don't have confidence in the system.
Because there were different portals.
It's the same system.
There are different portals.
If we keep giving excuses, we will not get to a point in our history as a nation where we can run a transparent election. But I'll be honest with you, it is not something that is too difficult to do.
No,
you only need competent people conducting the elections. And I am calling that independent, supposedly electoral commission needs to be staffed by competent people who can actually run seamless elections, not people who got there because they know somebody. Noted.
Okay. Anyway, we've come to the end of today's celebration. So many thanks to all our viewers. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Olaitan based in United States. Thank you for coming today.
It's my pleasure.
Who's from Canada, all the way from Canada. Thank you, Mr. Lawal, for coming to today's meeting. And to all our viewers, again, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. So it means when we put up the next video, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. So we'll see you again next week on Sunday, 8 p.m. London time. God bless you and goodbye.